guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm so excited to be covering Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 1. Welcome to Salt Lake City. You guys, I'm so excited about this franchise. I've heard some of you guys say, I'm not sure, we'll see how it goes. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's really good. It started off with a bang. It was a longer episode, and I just found myself really enjoying watching it. There's a lot to get down with this new cast, a lot of storylines, a lot going on. I'm sure I'll screw up the names, but I'm going to try to help us keep them straight. But, man, I thought it was really good. What did you guys think? I thought it really started off strong. So much more exciting than others that we've seen, like Beverly Hills and OC, stuff like that. So I'm super excited to get into it. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. All right, so the first one we start off with right off the bat is Jen Shah. Jen is from Hawaii. She moved to Utah, I think she said around 6 years old. She's Tongan, and her husband, Coach Shah is what they call him. He coaches football for the University of Utah. They met in college. They had a class together. They have a couple of kids. She explains that she used to be Mormon, but because they didn't accept African Americans till about 1970-something, she didn't think that was right, so she converted to Islam so her husband and children would be accepted. One funny thing about Jen, right off the bat, she was teasing with her sons about girlfriends and stuff, and she seems to think you can contract AIDS from kissing. So I'll just leave that there. Not a great way to start, but she's entertaining. I'll give her that. She threw this big lavish party, which we'll talk about. What'd you think? I mean, so far so good. She has the makings of a good housewife. A little bit crazy, a little bit of surgery going on. Like 14 assistants. I mean, lots of money. That's all the makings of a good housewife. P.S. Can you believe how different she looked from her college days? I mean, we all do, but I'm saying, she looks like a completely different person. I was kind of shocked to see that. Her husband's handsome. I like his suit. So I'm actually excited to learn about her. I will tell you, she's been super sweet on Twitter. The few times I've tweeted about the show, she's responded and liked my tweets. So already, I kind of like her. So we will definitely see more about her. I think she's going to be high maintenance, but again, that's the making of a good housewife. Okay, let's get into one of my favorites so far. I'm sure my opinion will change, but just off the first episode, my favorite is Heather. I like Heather. She's feisty. She doesn't take any crap. She's hilarious. She's one of the first curvy housewives we've had. I think that's fantastic that they're finally branching out and putting regular people on here. But she owns Beauty Lab Laser, and she's lived in Utah since she was 15. She says she explains that as a Mormon, obtaining perfection is a pastime. She said she started with the company with nothing, but now it's valued over $20 million. Good for her. She's got daughters. She goes on to explain she's purebred, pioneered Mormon, whatever that means. She married into a family of extreme wealth. She married the gay family. She said they're worth billions. They got divorced about 5 years ago. And she says all the things she gravitates to are not that of a good Mormon woman. I don't know. I just liked her personality a lot. We'll talk about more about her when the episode goes on. But I instantly liked her. I think she's a lot of fun. All right, let's talk about Meredith. Meredith, her husband's name is Seth. She moved to Utah when she was 7. She moved to Utah 7 years ago for Seth's work. She says she's Jewish from Chicago. They've been married for 24 years. They have 3 kids. She has a store and jewelry design business. She says that they have a large celebrity following. So basically, Seth works a lot of time in Chicago, and then it comes back to Utah. So again, they moved about 7 years ago. Now, we saw in the previews for upcoming in the season, sounds like she and Seth might be having some problems. So we'll see how that plays out. They have a very funny son. They have 3 kids, but this son is 21 years old. He's taken a semester off college. He's living at home with mom and dad. And I just liked him. I thought he was very sassy and funny, especially when the flowers delivered. Then we go over to Lisa. I love Lisa's house. I hate how she decorated it with these signs over each kid's bed. I just think that's really stupid. Here's my thought on Lisa. I can't stand her voice. She's got the strangest voice. Did you notice this? It sounds gravelly and weird. I know, my voice, I'm one to talk, but I guess mine's higher pitch. Hers is just different. I kind of cringed a little bit when she spoke, but I think part of that is her personality kind of sucks too. I know we're just getting to meet her, but I just was not impressed with her. I didn't like how she handled Heather. I didn't like the whole thing. She just seemed like a snob and kind of bitchy when she was at that party, so not a fan of Lisa yet. She is from, she's from New York. She came to Utah when she was 17 to go to school. She met her husband, John, through her older sister. They've been married for about 16 years. They have 2 boys, Jack and Henry. She has a luxury marketing company, but also they own some tequila brands, and now they're working on vodka. So right off the bat, she goes out of the way to talk about, I don't cook. We're not traditional. I don't cook. Okay, cool. I don't either, but I don't brag about that. It's just weird to me. So they show them driving through drive-through, and they make a big deal about this. And I don't know. A lot of people don't cook. I don't understand why this is a big deal and why this is your storyline already. So I've never been to Salt Lake, but seeing pictures like this makes me want to go. This place is beautiful. They flash to the Mormon church a lot. They use that photo a lot in the episode, but I get it. They're trying to explain what's going on in Salt Lake. So the episode really kicks off where we see Jen going to the beauty lab to see Heather. Of course, that's Heather's business. They've known each other for years. So I had to understand this right. And she explains it later. She has many assistants. One of them is Stuart. She brought him with her to get Botox in her armpits. She said she has a sweating problem. Botox will help stop that. Cool. They flashed to her having all these interesting procedures. I didn't even know you could get your knees Botox, but apparently you can. She talks about Meredith's birthday coming up. She's saying, what if we transform the Shah Chalet into Studio 54 with strippers? Heather's just not sure that Meredith will be up for that, but it sounds like Jen's already made up her mind, and she's all about throwing parties. Then we go over and we meet Whitney. Today is Whitney's wedding day, but it's not really. They're going to trick us. It's her vow renewal day. So she explains that she grew up in Utah, and her husband, Justin, is 18 years older. So this is interesting. Right off the bat, she gets out of the way. She's like, listen, we worked together. We had a hot office romance. They were both married to other people, and when they got together, so they were both excommunicated from the church. Whew, that's interesting. So she comes from Mormon royalty. She explains that Brigham Young, that somebody in her family, maybe her grandfather, was Joseph Smith's bodyguard. It's a big deal that they're no longer Mormon. So we see her get this renewal, I guess is the word, ceremony. She looks beautiful. She seems really happy. They both do. But she's explained that finally, after all these years, the family's starting to accept them because it was a big deal, that they were both married to other people when they got together. I think she's really stunning. She actually reminds me of Madison from Southern Charm. Something about her looks like that to me. Also, she had a stripper pole at her reception, as you do. So we're back to Jen. Jen is with Stuart, her first assistant. They make a point to show this every time they show his name, first assistant. Apparently she's got lots of assistants. She explains that he's her personal and business assistant. He knows everything, even when her period is. Whew, that's a little bit TMI. She loves to throw big over-the-top, extravagant parties, so she's throwing Meredith's party. She calls Crystal, her second assistant. She's trying to arrange everything and trying to make it a big deal. So we see a lot about these assistants. It reminds me of Sonia with the interns, but I'm guessing these people are probably paid. Look at how beautiful this place is. Oh my gosh, those houses are gorgeous. This one, not so much. I'm not a huge fan of Meredith's house, but I just thought the neighborhood was gorgeous. So I see Lisa coming over. They met when Meredith moved there. It is funny. They talk about how they look alike. They do look alike. They have similar mannerisms, similar build, similar hair. But it's funny that they address that. So they met when Meredith moved there, and Jen ends up coming over to join them. Now, when Jen gets there, she's wearing stilettos in the snow. And they make a big deal of showing her walking. I kept thinking she was going to fall down because who wears that in the snow? So Jen explains she met Lisa a few years ago at Sundance Film Festival. I forgot that's there in Salt Lake. Meredith met Jen a year ago at a party. Lisa and Heather have known each other for years. Okay, so this is kind of a weird storyline. Again, this is the first episode. I'm going to change my opinion a million times, but Lisa seems like a real bitch. She's apparently known Heather for years, but she pretends like she doesn't really remember. It's really strange. She says, I guess we have different recollections. Because Jen's saying, well, I thought you guys were friends for a long time. And Lisa's weirdly denying it. All I could think of is that whole Mariah Carey J-Lo thing. I don't know her. And then we meet Mary. Mary and Whitney are having lunch, and Whitney is explaining that Mary has no filter. So Mary has been married for 21 years. Now, this is the one that we all heard about before this. I have a whole episode where I talk about Mary. So if you haven't seen that, go back and listen because I talk about their taglines too. Okay, so Mary has been married for 21 years to Robert, her step-grandfather. She explains that it was an arranged marriage through her grandma's will. So basically her grandma said, if anything ever happens to me, marry one of my girls. She'll look out for you. So that's what they did. They got married. I'm so skeeved out by this. I know it's not blood, but if he was in your family before, and that's messed up. It really grosses me out. Anyway, so she calls herself the Pentecostal First Lady. So she explains that the temple that she was inherited through her grandmother as well. She doesn't like to be called a pastor. It sounds old lady, so she goes by First Lady. So while they're sitting there and let me just talk about Mary for a second. Didn't care for Mary. I thought she'd be fun and spunky, but she kind of came off bitchy as well. We'll get into it with the whole Jen versus Mary thing, but I don't know about Mary. I don't know. She came off as pretentious, truthfully. I want that in a housewife. Believe me, I love seeing the labels and the brands. And there's a difference, though. Dorit is kind of fun pretentious, whereas Mary didn't seem as fun pretentious. I don't know. I wasn't a fan right off the bat. We'll see. So we got to see some of her collection. She does have some cool stuff, some vintage Gucci, some Chanel, stuff like that. But we'll see about Mary. So while Mary and Whitney are sitting there, Whitney got a text from Jen saying she's throwing this party for Meredith. So Mary explains that she and Jen used to be friends, and they even show a flash about 6 months ago where they were hanging out together. And one day she says, it smells like hospital. She said Jen hugged her, and she's very sensitive to that smell. Jen explained she had come from the hospital. She's been spending time there because her aunt, who was like a mom to her, was getting both her legs amputated. And she said Mary knew this, and she was just flat out being mean. Mary said, so Mary ended up getting a text from Jen inviting her as well, and she was kind of surprised because they haven't really spoken, she and Jen. So she said it's only because Meredith wanted her. That's the reason she was invited. Okay, so then we're back to Jen's chalet. They're setting up for the party. And Jennifer has a microphone. This yeah, that's going to be her thing, apparently. She's says she's throwing a Jen Shaw party. She's having all the furniture moved out. She's draping everything. She says she'll have to put it all back before Coach Shah comes home. Basically, she said she doesn't like him there when she's doing this because he'll ask questions like, how much does this cost? And she doesn't really want to talk about it with him. So she's getting all this done, and Heather comes over. So Heather is saying, Jen's telling Heather that, Lisa's saying you guys went to school together, but that she doesn't really remember you. And Heather's pissed, rightly so, saying, oh, I'm not significant enough to be remembered. And saying it's a weird thing to lie about. She thinks she's better than me. It's a diss. She's doing this because she's a bitch. Then Heather said, okay, so the whole thing is, Lisa kept saying that Heather was a party girl, whatever that means. And Heather's saying, no, I was a virgin when I got married. Not a good time girl like Lisa's telling people. And then she says, go sell more tequila. She says she doesn't drink it because she's Mormon, but she'll sell that shit. So we see a scene here of Brooks, Meredith's son. He calls his dad and says, hey, the florist just came. And there's flowers everywhere, which is good in theory, but this would make me absolutely crazy. I don't mean there's just arrangements of flowers everywhere. There's literally flowers everywhere. And he even says it looks like a coffin of flowers. It's over the top. Meredith is excited, but you can tell she's upset because she says she'd rather have him there in person. And she also says she's turning 48. So it's the day of the party, and we're seeing Jen walk through this tunnel that she's set up for this party, and she's really gone over the top. It's a lot. Meredith wears this crazy dress. I think I'm making this my thumbnail because it is the craziest dress I've ever seen. It's not even like fun crazy, it's like Big Bird crazy. We see a montage of all the women getting ready. They're all getting ready for this party. They have shirtless men serving food at this party. Heather explains that Mormons will secretly drink in the corner and non-Mormons will just drink out in the open. So we see everybody arriving. Meredith arrives. Jen is still getting ready. And Meredith says, yes, it's my birthday, but the reality is I knew that this wasn't a party for me. We see a montage of Lisa walking around, and Heather kind of calls it out and is like, oh, she has her jacket resting on her shoulders, and she's being fake. And we do see a montage of her walking around saying, oh, you look fabulous. I love your outfit. I really like Heather. So Jen comes out. It's 45 minutes later that she comes out. Yeah, so there's a better shot of that dress that Meredith is wearing. I just can't get over that. So again, Jen comes out 45 minutes late. She makes a grand entrance. Lisa says, I'd never make a grand entrance at a party for somebody else. I kind of agree with her there. I think that's not the greatest thing to do, but it's her house, whatever she wants to do. Let's see, Jen flew in these Tongan dancers, so they have a special dance. And a producer asks, what do Tongan dancers have to do with Meredith? And she says, no, nothing. They're just for her. So Mary arrives, and she's super into her own outfits. She loves to tell people that she's wearing Valentino. I didn't love Mary's outfit. I don't like that mint green color. I just didn't think it was that flattering. Still better than Meredith's outfit. So Mary and Jen decide to sit down and talk. And Jen's explaining again about the aunt that she loved, got her legs amputated. So when Mary said that it smells like hospital, it was a really big deal. This is such a weird argument. I think it's rude to say somebody smells like hospital, but it does sound like she was at the hospital. So maybe she did. I don't know. It's just kind of a silly argument to have this big of a deal over. Mary keeps arguing the semantics of it over and over while they're talking. Mary starts saying, where's Carrie? Where's Carrie? Where's Carrie? Where's Carrie? Carrie is Jen's friend. She comes over. She was there that night. And she backs up Jen. She's like, yeah, you said that. And Mary said, yeah, you both smelled like hospital. So instead of saying, I'm sorry about that, let's just move on, she doubles down saying, you both smell. Then Mary starts being a bitch and telling that Carrie to go away. Even though she called her over, she tells her to go away. It's not even her house. I just thought this was rude. If Mary wanted to get away, she should have just walked off. But Jen was pissed over all this, and so the last scene of the episode, we see her walk off, slamming a door, and saying, "Bitch, don't effing disrespect my effing family." And that's where we see it to be continued. So, such a good episode. I mean, lots of drama already. It's drama over a hospital smell, which that just makes me laugh. But so much drama between the women, so much interesting stories. I'm very excited about this series. I'm really open-minded about it. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see where they go with this. We do see the to be continued. It looks like a crazy season coming up. Just lots of scenes. It's hard to know what's going on yet, but lots of stuff coming up. We do see a scene where Jen is yelling, "Bitch, the tea is going to MFing come out." So I think that's the case. It probably will be a wild season, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to see what all happens. P.S. This is Whitney's dad. I'm going to need a whole lot more information on this guy. Is he like Chris Angel's stunt double? What are we looking at here? That is it for the episode. I so enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed talking about it. I'm definitely going to stick with this one. And I hope you guys will too. Let me know your thoughts below. Who are you liking? Who are you not liking? Did anybody rub you the wrong way this episode? I really want to know if you guys are on the same page with me. What are your thoughts on Mary and her grandfather husband? What are your thoughts? What did you think overall? What did you think of Lisa? What did you think of all of them? Who's your favorite? Who's your not favorite? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed. Check out my other shows. I cover all kinds of stuff. If you really want to support us, check out Patreon. It's $4 a month, $1 a week. Gets you 4 bonus episodes. And right now I am in Scary Island, and it is amazing. So check that out. Thank you guys for everything, and have a fantastic week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will talk to you soon.